Happy Friday, everybody. It's getting spooky season, to get my sweatshirt on. Welcome to another Common Question live episode here. I just got done checking my email. I got a couple questions, and then I have a couple common things that I've seen as an instructor as well. So let's go ahead and chat about that real quick. And then at the end of this video, I will also do some announcements and things that are upcoming for next week, because we got some exciting things coming up next week. So if you're here for the announcements, go ahead and just fast forward to the end of the video, probably about a minute or two at the end, okay? All right, so for the crossbody lead, I hope everybody's been working on that this week. And if you're coming across some challenges, I bet I can predict some of them. So between you and your partner, a lot of times what happens is the lady feels like she's being dragged through it, right? Or pulled or yanked, especially when we go right into it and then towards the end as well. So that is directly related to the frame, right? Staying with the lady as you're starting that crossbody lead. So leaders, when you're rotating to your first wall, you want to make sure with your toes and your hips, right? You want to make sure that your frame is staying with your partner. So earlier this week, I talked about rotating the hips away from the frame, right? If that's difficult to do, a great exercise to do daily to get more flexibility is exactly what I just did. So sit in a chair, keep both hips grounded on the chair, and then take the center, your solar plexus or your sternum, and turn it, 45 degrees. Then come back to the middle and then turn it 45 degrees. Try to keep your elbows in close to you, especially when you're first starting, because that's going to help isolate the core muscles so you're using the right ones. If you have your frame up like this, what I see a lot is students trying to use their like arm strength or their elbows to pull that sternum around, and we don't want to do that. So to strengthen the core and get a little bit more rotation and flexibility between our hips and our rib cage, sit in a chair and do some rotations, but make sure it's coming from the core and not your arms. Okay. um Mike reminded me of this too. Yeah, gosh, I miss teaching with him. It's always so good to have like another brain when you're working, right? But bless his heart, he's able to still like be like, remember this and this. So yesterday when we were recording, he did remind me that a lot of times for beginners, because everything is new, so asking a beginner to kind of cut their body in half and rotate is kind of a lot in the beginning. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll kind of do a hinge lead through our frame, which you're not necessarily supposed to do in cha-cha. However, that's okay. You will use it in swing. It's something that you do use in swing. So once you get a little bit more flexible with your rotation, with your body and your torso and your hips, then you can go back to doing it the correct way. But unhinging it, unhinging your frame, and what I mean by that, so say you can't rotate like this, right? What you could do is move from the shoulder sockets, right? Keep the elbows lifted though, right? And in equal distance apart. So if you're kind of doing this as you're unhinging your frame, it's not going to feel good for your partner. Okay? But unhinging means the shoulder socket, the shoulder bone in the shoulder socket is moving like a hinge, essentially. Okay? So when you're going to rotate, you can literally lower your hands if you need to and rotate and move your shoulders towards your partner. Okay? So that was a good one. All right, another thing that always happens, and I, here it is again, is too big of steps. Okay, so once you get comfortable with where your feet are going, you really need to start practicing it small. Not only is this going to help you stay with time of the music, but it's going to help the communication and the flow between you and your partner and yourself with your relation to the floor. So keep those steps nice and small, right underneath you, right? Directly relating to that, however, because some people like start working on their small steps, be careful that you now don't start to shorten the beat value for your count one, okay, or your count five. Make sure that your one, two, and three, and your five, six, and seven are all one full beat. Coming off of those half beats, the cha-chas, it's really, really easy to rush that the five, sorry, or the one. Okay, so make sure when you are applying those small steps that you don't find yourself rushing the one. So if you're only counting to four, which sometimes it's easier when you're first training, everyone make sure you hold a full beat. Okay, you're not rushing that. All right, what else happens? Let me think. So we're going through it. Oh, you know what happens, and mainly for the follows, actually. Sometimes it might happen actually in a different way for the leads, but okay. For the follows, because we're going forward for the first time, it's very, very natural and easy for us to pick up those toes and step with a heel. So watch that as you're practicing. Make sure that your toes stay disciplined and they stay on the floor so that every step you're taking is leading with your toes and not a heel. Because you will be tempted because you're going forward for the first time. And that's more of a natural way to step for a lot of people, anyways. Not everybody, but for a lot of people. And then leads, I do see a lot of times when, nah, this is more so when after we've really gotten comfortable with it. So it's not really when you're first starting out. So look for it towards the end when you're really starting to have fun with it. We start to get a little too crazy with the rotation, and our weight starts to get into our right heel, and I see a little bit of like pivoting in the heel when we're rotating to our final wall. So watch that, make sure that we're staying in the ball of the foot there. Okay, let me think. Anything else? Oh, yeah, and I addressed this yesterday too, of course, but the lady a lot of times will pass too soon. So when we're opening up on the first wall, right, and we're going to do our cha-chas, a lot of times the lady starts to pass the partner during those cha-chas. And I addressed this yesterday. Make sure that you stay behind your partner, right? Until so you after you do your cha-chas on that second wall. So after you're going forward, cha cha cha, and then you're actually going to take one more forward step as you begin to rotate and turn around. That's when you're also passing him. Okay, so stay back, take your time, take those small steps. That will help. All right. I think that is it. Let me just give myself, I feel awkward just being on camera and thinking, but let me think for just a minute and see if anything else comes to me. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because there's rotation, there's a lot of dipping. Okay, so make sure that you put those rulers on your side, not literally, just imaginatively. Put some rulers on the side, duct tape them there, right? That way you can't bend to this side. A lot of times when we learn to rotate, we'll start dipping into the side or the other side. Okay, so keep those sides level. That goes for both of us. All right. And oh, I know a common question. Actually, this was one that I got in the email was where do we supposed to look with our heads? It's rhythm, and so there's really no especially if you're dancing socially, there's no necessary way you have to. That's going to help aid that step. Remember, you do have your forward poise, so your head is held forward over your toes, over the balls of your feet. However, you can use your head a lot for styling in the way that you're either looking at your partner or not looking at your partner. Looking at a guest or the floor, or which I don't recommend you do for long, just as a styling thing, and use your eyes, not your head. So I personally like to look at my partner until they open up and leave me, and then I like to look straight ahead. Sometimes I will turn and look at them and then look back out. But it's really up to you. It's a personal thing. It's whatever you're feeling in that moment. It's not going to be the same for every dance. The song, the music might influence that decision as well. So have fun with it, play with it. There is no wrong or right way. All right. Okay, so some announcements for next week. Next week, like towards the middle of the week, starts October, which is Halloween month. I'm a mother of three, so I've got three costumes that I am getting together, plus my own and my husband. So I will be a little busy. So I just ask for patience ahead of time, knowing that I might be like running into these live videos a little like who knows? I might have glitter in my hair. Who knows? Okay. So just be open to the possibility that it might be a little bit different this month because I have so much going on as far as my appearance goes. Um, but as far as the dance stuff goes, there is Ballroom Blitz does their Halloween party. Let me pull up my calendar, the calendar for you so we can all look at it together. If I zoom in here. So Ballroom Blitz, I believe theirs is going to be the 21st here. Okay, and I will be teaching Samba next month for Ballroom Blitz. So if you're local, you know where that's at. And then I am going to be DJing at the University of Michigan's event, which is really exciting as well. They've asked me to do that, and I'm doing that on Sunday here, October 19th. Um, and then we have the YouTube Live going as normal. We do not start that until the 6th, though. So please note that next week we will not be doing any live sessions. However, I will be posting out the Tango support videos. So I'll post one. I'll post one on Monday, the 29th here, and then one the 30th, the 1st, and the 2nd. So be looking for those. Those Tango support videos will help all these live classes that we are doing this month. Okay, and then oh yes, and then at the 25th, on the 25th, at the very end of October, we will we'll have our first MSO practice session. So for those students local here who are participating in MSO, snapshot a picture of this, put it in your calendars. It's a great time to practice, but also it makes the fun of the event last longer. You get to see those friends again and practice together. And it's a good time. So that's taking place at the Joy Manor Banquet Hall. So check that out. And like I mentioned, I am DJing at University of Michigan, but I'm also going to be the DJ for Ballroom Blitz, and that is this coming Tuesday. Okay. I didn't change. I never changed it. My pictures, anyways. I see how that works. Well, that was the first time doing that. That's pretty cool. I wonder if I just go to here. So if I go stop sharing, I see it. So then I have to switch it. So this is what I was trying to show you as well. So see, we have the MSO practice sessions there. Okay, and then also, like I said, I am DJing next Tuesday for the Ballroom Blitz event. Okay, so all my events are on my Facebook page. Oh no, and they're also on my website. I think that's it. And I also send out a calendar every month to my email subscribers. So if you want to join that, just drop your email in the comments below. And then, of course, if you have any questions or suggestions or hopes or challenges about your dancing, requests for future videos, drop me an email, info@mmdancellc.com. and I would be more than happy to help you and to answer those questions and make a video. Okay. So, everybody have a lovely weekend. I am off to mow my grass, and then have a Halloween decoration night with my family and their my girls' friends. So it's going to be a fun evening. If you're going out dancing tonight, please be safe. Please be open. Be considerate of your partners and enjoy it. All right. Love to you all. See you next time. Bye bye.